When it comes to being the scapegoat in an ARC family cult, it's easy to ask yourself what is peace when dealing with them, especially when living in close proximity or being surrounded by them still. By the way, this is Aisha, and here we thrive beyond the abuse. We know all the narcs' tactics, manipulation, tools, and everything. We're done focusing on them, and we're here gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive here, beyond the abuse. But yes, what is peace? How do we get that? Do we get that by speaking up and advocating for ourselves and others who are also being emotionally abused by the narcs? Or do we get that by holding in all of our energy, not speaking up, preserving our energy, our thoughts, our emotions for things that we actually love and for reciprocal, healthy places and environments? This is something that I've been asking myself a lot and have been going back and forth with between periods of my life where I'm very vocal and I feel justified in expressing myself and my needs and giving feedback instead of holding it all in, because a part of me was like, this is unhealthy to hold this all in, for to not express the pain and the experience that I'm going through with these people. But then the other part of me was like, oh, I might as well just hold it in, because whenever I do, I'm met with guilt, shame, deflection, and them just pulling me deeper into their hole and their illusion, into their narrative, with their subtle gaslighting that we all know about. But it took one scenario where one of the narcs in my life literally gaslit the hell out of me, and it sent me into a whole emotional and mental spiral, because I was going to them thinking that they would be accountable for their actions and that we can find clarity together. And your pursuit of clarity will be your downfall, ultimately, because they will just add more confusion, more doubt, more shame, more pain, ultimately. They decided that their perspective was objective and my perspective was subjective, and just them insinuating that in the conversation positioned me to continuously defend myself and my perspective, while they were just sitting back. Oh, well, no, the objective, the truth actually is their perspective. And that just sent me even more into the spiral. And then when I would say my side, this is how I remember things happening. Oh, this is not how it happened. And their gaslighting and their manipulation just further caused more emotional and internal turmoil on my part, when all I wanted was to see clarity. And you, as a scapegoat, that's all you want. You want the truth, and you want accountability, and you want to have reconciliation, healthy reconciliation. But they will not allow that to happen, not on their watch. And I left that conversation ultimately feeling so drained, so tired, so defeated, so confused about my own reality of what happened, because me coming to them allowed them to insert so much into it that ultimately just made it even worse than if I just didn't say anything to begin with. And then there's the other half of you who's like, oh, okay, let's just be silent. Let's just be silent. Let's just observe and peep accordingly. Let's gray walk, walk. Let's gray rock them and stonewall them, and just focus in on our own life and our own path. And I guess the downside of that part is when they continue with this, their, dysfunction, it's extremely hard, at least for me, because I've always been very outspoken when it comes to justice and the truth. It's very hard to sit on that and not say anything. So truly, what's peace in this scenario? When you're a scapegoat in an ARC family cult, what is peace? Is it constant outwards, external battles with the narcs as they try to spread their dysfunction and you are the only one who stands up to it? Or is it constant internal battle with yourself when the dysfunction's happening all around you and you are just trying to focus on yourself and your healing and be silent and not open up that gate for them to infiltrate even more? I've ultimately come to the conclusion that staying silent is the best move, and here's why. For one, like I've said, when you speak up, it allows them to infiltrate your reality and the truth. You seek clarity, they want to spread confusion. Once you let them know your perspective and how you see it, that just is a playing ground for them to pick at it. Oh, well, this is not true. Or, oh, well, this is how I see it. My truth is objective. You're subjective. You're just emotional. It opens up the ground for them to come in and say, hey, this is not true, and you should just deal with it. Further invalidating not only your initial experience with them, but then your perspective of it afterwards. The second reason is that if you stay silent, then they have no ammo, no fuel to make you the villain. When you speak up about it and their character and their dysfunction, that's just an easy gateway for them to wrap it all up in one box and put a bow on it and say, you're just a problem and you always want to argue and you always want to complain and this is all you. Not knowing that there would be no problem, you wouldn't have to speak up, you wouldn't have to constantly argue with them if they just changed their behavior, if they just reflected on how they are spreading dysfunction, how they're hurting others. That's a big one that I've experienced, is being called crazy, being called argumentative all the time, being called disrespectful, having an attitude, when I'm just having a natural reaction to their constant manipulation and narcissistical tendencies. But me calling it out constantly is now the problem. When you speak up, it allows them to just put it all in one fancy box. I talked about it. This other girl was talking about when she was diagnosed with a schizo disorder and a psychological disorder, and she told her family that, hoping that they would, be aware of that, treat her kinder, have more mercy towards her because of her disorder. But instead they were able to say, oh, so all 18 years of you calling us out is just your disorder, you're the problem. And that was like a cautionary tale that I posted that you should check out on my YouTube. Was a big cautionary tale for scapegoats, to not go to them with your vulnerabilities, to not express yourself to them, because they'll turn everything into a weapon. The third reason, and I think ultimately the most important reason to stay silent, is that you have to learn to pick your battles with them. And so when you're constantly calling them out on their behavior, they just get desensitized to it. And you get desensitized to it. You're constantly ruminating on it, thinking about it, investing energy and time into it, and you trying to heal and thrive beyond the abuse. Your energy and your thoughts and your time should be on you and your life, on your passions, on what makes you happy, on peaceful mornings, on cozy nights and movie nights, or just doing what you love, your like passion in sports, your career, your school, whatever you're in right now. They will suck all the energy that you need for those important tasks to elevate your life, to move forward, and they will just eat it up, eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. So what is peace? What is peace truly? When you speak up against justice, or speak up against injustice, or staying silent and just allowing it to happen around you, but your peace is protected. I say try both, so you know how you feel after each one. Because after eras of doing each one, I've realized that I just have to stay silent, and that's the ultimate peace. Being a scapegoat is not easy, it's not for the weak, and it's just not it. And their emotional abuse will take a further toll on you if you keep inserting yourself. And I know it sounds crazy, we're inserting ourselves, no, they're doing it to us, I know. But also we are allowing it to continue in our lives, in our thoughts, in our emotions, by trying to call them out on it, trying to seek clarity and reconciliation, when they're just committed to misunderstanding. They're committed to tormenting you, whether they're doing it consciously or not. They're committed to withholding empathy and love and compassion towards you. And yeah, it might suck, just sitting in it. And I'm not saying don't defend yourself, don't set boundaries. But what I am saying is that with silence, with the narcs, comes peace, ultimately. Once again, this is Aisha, and here we're going to thrive beyond the abuse. And we're done focusing on them. We're focusing on what we can do to move forward and to heal and thrive and live our best lives. Thank you for listening. Bye.